The ranks of each Space Marine Legion stand 100,000 strong or more. They require a substantial core of battle commanders to control and coordinate, and the Centurion represents such leaders. Hello there! In this video I'll show you how to paint the Mark II Centurion quickly with some simple extra details so you can add it to your army in your ranks in no time while still looking sharp on the battlefield. Instead of painting this model as an Iron Warrior like on the box art, I'll paint it as a Salamander. So if this is your diving in point for the Legion, you can use this as your guide for your entire army. The paint you'll need are on screen now. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time, but you can change some of these out for your own colours to suit your needs. Also, here's a list of the tools and brushes that I've used, but you can use whatever brushes you feel comfortable with. With all that said, I've started with an undercoat of Chaos Black. This is a great starting point for the green and the darker red tones, but will also give me some shadows around the back of the armour under the cloak. So first up, let's paint that awesome green armour. There's plenty of ways to go about doing this, but I'm starting with Warg Flesh. For this, I'm using a technique called overbrushing. Don't worry if you haven't heard about it before, I've just recently learnt it myself. This technique is kind of like dry brushing, but this time we're going to leave a bit more paint on the brush. Then, rather than aiming this to get on the edges, I'm instead applying this in back and forth motions all over the armour, attempting to avoid all the recesses. This way the recesses will stay in that Chaos Black spray and act as our shadows. Nice and simple. And because this is our first paint that we're applying to the model, don't worry about being neat, just make sure you cover all the armour. With that done, now I'm applying an all-over dry brush with Elysian Green. In a different manner to our overbrush from before, this time I'm just aiming to get this on the raised areas and edges of the armour. And once again, not too worried about being messy here, as the other parts of my Centurion haven't been painted yet. With that applied, I'm just going to finish off the armour with one more dry brush. I'm using Krieg Khaki just on the very sharpest raised areas to really make them pop. Feel free to skip this step if you're already happy with the armour from before. Awesome, with the armour now finished, let's move on. We'll leave the armoured plates for now and move on to base coating the other details. For the silver details, I'm using Iron Hand steel for the gun, piping, power maul, chains, backpack exhaust and much more, including the tank rubble that the Centurion is standing on. I'm applying 2 thin layers of this and being extra careful around the armour areas, really taking my time and trying my best not to make any mistakes. Don't worry if you do mess up though, you can go back with the appropriate paint and fix it up. Feel free to pick out more or less areas on your model with Iron Hand steel, it's your model after all and there's no right or wrong answer. Next, I'm applying Skull Crusher brass to the other metallic areas, like the armour trim, weapon trim, icons and the banner top. Just like the silver, apply a few coats to get that shiny finish. And once you're happy with your metals, change your paint water so it's fresh and clear of metallic flakes for the next paints. For the fiery yet dark red details, I'm starting off with a base coat of Khorne Red on the cloak, maul handle, helmet plume and any lenses around the model. Except for that big lens on the helmet, I'll be painting that later. Now I'm painting the shoulder pads, knee pads, gun casing, piping and the leathers in Corvus Black. You could paint the leathers in a brown colour if you want to, but if you want to save some time when it comes to painting a whole army of salamanders, this is a great way to cut out steps to get to the battlefield quicker. And the final base coat that I'm applying is Rakarth Flesh for the parchment on the banner and the servo skull. 2 thin layers later, it's time for shading. With those base coats down, I'm happy to start shading. And one of the best ways I've found to get a dark, gritty Heresy army shaded is Agrax Earthshade. I'm using this for all the metallics, Mephiston Red and Corvus Black details. For the Rakarth Flesh details, I'm just mixing my Agrax Earthshade with a drop of Lamia Medium to make it a little bit less intense. If you find that some areas on your mini are a little too dark after this stage, you can layer over the top of whatever area you fancy with the original base coat. And there we go! That shade has really brought those base coats together. My Salamander Centurion is very nearly complete now and ready for the gaming table. There's just a few things that still need painting, the main one being the iconic Mark II visor. Seeing as this is a big focal point on the mini, I'll be putting in some extra care on this part to really make it stand out. Step 1, black out the whole area using Abaddon Black. With that done, I'm base coating the centre of the lens with Fire Dragon Bright. So you can see here there's still some Abaddon Black showing in each corner. Next, I'm very carefully applying an edge highlight to the Fire Dragon Bright on the bottom of the lens using Uriel Yellow, and this is a really tricky bit, so just take your time and remember you can always neaten up any mistakes that you make. And finally, to finish off the effect, all that's left to add is some reflection effects with 2 tiny dots of Corax White in each corner. And there we go, I'm really happy with that lens, and now the Centurion is more than ready to lead his legion into battle on the gaming table. But seeing as he is a character after all, why not add a couple extra highlights if you have time? First up, the metallics. For both the gold and silver details, I'm using Stormhost Silver. This works great for pretty much anything metallic and is a great one to have in your arsenal of paint. I can't remember the last time I didn't use Stormhost Silver on a project. If you want to be really precise here, use the smallest brush you have to carefully place the paint where you want it. But if edge highlighting isn't your style, feel free to dry brush this on instead. Now onto the last colour. Finally, to add that fiery touch to the red, I'm highlighting it with Wild Rider Red. I'm applying this to the cloak edges and folds, and then the plume on the helmet too. Remember, you can either use a small airbrush for this stage or dry brush it on instead. It's completely up to you. And there we go, our Salamander Centurion painted with haste, but with a few extra steps in between, looks really striking on the battlefield. As I said at the beginning, this scheme is great for pretty much your whole army, so see what works for you. If you want more painting tips and tricks, we have plenty of videos on the YouTube channel for you to choose from. Or if you prefer some help in person, you can visit one of the many Warhammer stores and talk to our great staff who are always happy to help. Thanks for watching, see you soon, bye bye!